asking around and Googling, talking to scientists, was weather modification, cloud seeding. You know, this tech, you said you looked into it in the past. It's been around for like 80 years.
Sure.
And so the huge question that I had was, if this has existed for so long, either there needs to be some critical breakthrough in it, or like it just doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
Because if it did work, it'd be everywhere. And what I found out was the reason why nobody had really scaled cloud seeding was attribution. Like, it was impossible to attribute precipitation to your intervention, meaning like, if I fly a drone up into a cloud and I sprinkle fairy dust and then it rains, that doesn't mean that we caused it to rain, right? Like, how do you differentiate between the natural and the anthropogenic precipitation? The thing that changed through like 2017 through 2021 is some scientists from the National Center of Atmospheric Research realized if you have super high-res radar and you fly in, say, a zigzag pattern or a spiral, something to that effect, then you can, if it's working, see the precipitation co-located with your flight track.
Oh, I see. So you do a zigzag, and they can say, oh, because of the zigzag, we can see that it doesn't rain in Z's, but now it does, so
Exactly.
we can attribute.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah, and you can measure exactly how much water you put on the ground.
Okay, now let's get into the science. So how do you make it rain?
Yeah, so there's two different kinds of cloud seeding. There's glaciogenic and hygroscopic. Glaciogenic, glacier, right? It relies on freezing liquid in the cloud into heavy enough snowflakes so that they become heavy enough to precipitate. So you'll, with radar or other probes, measure how much water is in the cloud. If you have water that's around like 0 degrees Celsius or below, you can fly a drone up into it, spray this fairy dust that I told you about, silver iodide. That chemical, its crystal structure is almost identical to ice, so water freezes onto it very favorably, grows into those big heavy snowflakes, then precipitates either as snow or, if it's warm beneath the cloud, as rain. Like bioaccumulation of the chemical, totally fine. And even still, rainmakers investigating and researching alternative chemicals that are even more safe. The second thing is, do you cause flooding, right? Like we saw what happened in Dubai. And whether you cause flooding or not is contingent on how sophisticated or how cautious your operational thresholds are. Like, if that cloud's going to rain already, maybe you shouldn't seed it, because then it'll flood the ground. Or if the reservoirs are full, don't do that. Then the third thing is, do you cause downwind droughts, right? Like, if I seed a cloud in Nevada, is that going to take water from Utah? I think we need to do a lot more research into that one. It depends on the cloud, from what we can tell so far. Some clouds are never naturally going to precipitate, and so seeding those in, say, Nevada, those clouds never would have precipitated in Utah anyway, so that's purely positive sum. But we need to do a lot more study into whether and which clouds are net.
It's not like it's beyond our control. The weather may be beyond our control for now, but it's not beyond our control. And I promise you.
What do you do? Who pays you, and how successful has it been?
Yeah, so the departments of natural resources, or the public works departments, or the departments.
So various like government agencies.
It's government, yeah.
So the governments pay you money to seed the clouds.
Can confirm the government is deliberately modifying the weather.
Wow.
Yes. Yep.
We have a scoop
on the record.
I'm going to pretend to write something here.
Yep.
So the government is paying you to modify the weather.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I can assure you that we are modifying the weather.
You heard it here first. Which is a great segue to my next questions, which you know where we're going. Okay, so governments are paying you. You're doing it at the behest of local governments, regional governments, whatever it is, and it's working? Yeah. So they pay you money. What do? You send up a plane?
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a congresswoman from Georgia, is now saying the federal government is literally controlling the weather. We're controlling the weather. It's beyond ridiculous. It's got to stop.